You know, guys, here in France, 15, 20 years ago, Canada was seen as the land of opportunities. I remember back then, a lot of young men were dreaming about moving to either Australia or Canada, especially Canada, since French is spoken in Quebec. You didn't even need to speak English to move to Canada. Canada was seen as a country in which you could get a job pretty easily, be pretty well paid, and the real estate was still, somewhat affordable. It was a land in which you could grow and get ahead way easier than in France. But nowadays, it seems like it's not the case anymore. Listen to this.
Yeah, I just am so sad to even think that I have to maybe leave Canada and move to another country. I lived here over 20 years, going to 25 years, and never ever thought that would be something that I have to consider. The number one reason is that the living cost is getting unbearable. It's like a two-bedroom bungalow house that should be selling for, I don't know, probably $100,000 or a little more. It's selling at almost $1 million,
Wow,
starting at $850,000. And to rent that
that's an
place,
increase.
if you can even find a rental place, because it's so popular, there's so many people looking for renting place, but they can't find one. And to rent that place starts at $3,000 in certain parts of Canada. And I'm not even
$3,000 to rent a place, guys. Imagine. So it's Canadian dollars, of course. So it's a bit weaker than the euros or the USD. It will be, if I'm not mistaken, roughly 2,000 euros per month, which is already a lot. Okay, so we need to make at least I don't know, 4,000, 5,000 euros to be able to pay this kind of rent. I think
exaggerating, and that's cheap. We
that's
recently had
cheap.
to move out of rental, and we were grandfathered, and we were paying about $1,900 almost, and that was increased over 3 years' time. And as soon as we left, the owner increased the price to $3,000. And that's cheaper renting price because the house, like I said, only had a two-bedroom. And I
Yeah,
was
small
like,
house.
who can afford that? I mean, people can afford it if they have to, but then they're paying more than 50% of their income into renting. But they can't buy a house either because then you have to have a down payment
Yeah,
for something $1 million for down payment. It's, I don't know how much even that is, just unbelievable. And who can
for $1 million. I don't know about Canada, but here it would be, I don't know, 200, 250,000 euros. Well, not in France. In France it's quite easy to get, a mortgage, but in other countries I think it will be at least 20, 25%. I'm not going below what it is like to get a down payment in your country. How much you need to be able to get a mortgage in the country you are from, guys?
save that kind of down payment? If you had the money to save down payment, then you wouldn't be renting. Like, it's just, there's a hole in my bucket, Eliza, it's just going in a circle, and
Yeah.
it's devastating. Unless both of husband and wife, or your friends, or roommates, or whatever, family members are working non-stop, never see each other, even then.
It's the same everywhere now. The rising cost of living, the skyrocketing prices of everything, real estate, groceries, gas, cars, insurances. It's getting crazy everywhere. So yeah, it isn't much better here in France. It's the same in the Netherlands. It's the same in Southern Europe, in Russia. Of course, depending where you go, the cost of living will be more or less, high. But the wages tend to be too low everywhere. So sometimes you feel like, I'm gonna move to another country because it's too expensive where I am now. I'm gonna move to that country which is cheaper. Yeah, it will be cheaper for you if you keep your Canadian, French, American, UK, Netherlands income. Otherwise, if you work locally, you will be struggling as much, if sometimes even more, if you work locally, because the local wages are low as well compared to the cost of living. That's their problem.
And I don't even know you can afford it. I have a really good job, but by myself, if I can afford those kind of houses, I'll be working all the time, never home. So I never get to enjoy my house anyway.
Yeah, and that's why people don't make kids.
So it's crazy. If this goes up as it is and continues on, I have no choice but to leave Canada and flee out of here, because it's no longer livable. It's no longer doable, and it's really, really sad. When I came to Canada when I was 13, I really loved the country, and that's what I remember, and I just couldn't wait to immigrate here and live here. Immigration took a long time, and just things went sour. Mind you, when I came to Canada at 13, I didn't really know that I loved the country because I was so young. But as I spent more time, as I was hitting 20s, I realized the country was so good and beautiful.
Yeah, back then, I remember 15, 20 years ago, all these guys, they were moving to Australia, Canada, and they even told me back then, yeah, you should come with us, it's easy to find a job there, you will be better paid than in France, and yeah, real estate is very affordable, you can buy, a house, far away, near the forest, for 100K. It's basically the land of opportunities, a little bit like the US used to be in the 70s, 80s, maybe earlier, not sure, but you know what I'm talking about. So it has changed a lot in 20 years. Insane.
Especially where I used to live, but now it's not only financially difficult and almost impossible, unless you're a lawyer, unless two people are working as a doctors,
doctor,
to live
lawyers,
a normal
and so on,
life.
Engineers.
Back then your parents could be just school teacher, and they have a summer off and have a good job Monday to Friday, whatever, and they could own a boat and have a summer house and retire comfortably. Like, that's our parents or grandparents.
Yeah, that's like my parents in the 90s. My father wasn't rich. My mother didn't work because she's Russian, so Russian women don't work at home, they take care of the household. And my father wasn't even rich, but he could afford, a big house, another apartment, properties, a nice car, everything. I remember these days, but these days are very far away now. Believe me, now it's getting tight, very tight, insane.
Time. Now, you both are working as a school teacher. I don't even know if you can have a days off. On your days off, you better have a side jobs, or on your summer off, you better have another job, because you can't possibly,
Yeah, you can't invest
unless you have an inheritance, unless you make extra money in the side hustles or investments or stock market. But again, those are all side things. That's not purely from your income, and you can't afford to live in Canada anymore with your just good job, good income. So it's becoming really crazy, least to say. And second reason is that the government is, I don't know what's happening. It's unpredictable. I mean, anywhere is unpredictable, actually. It's really, I don't know if there is place in the world that you can say the government or anything that in charge of you is stable or whatnot, but it certainly has affected a lot of parts of our living. And last 2 to 3 years, you all probably have experienced one way or the other just unexpected things in life and storms, and just like in awe that I had to go through stuff, and it's unbelievable. So many unstable, unknown,
I agree,
kind of fearful future. So it's,
it's the same everywhere. The world is very unstable now. No matter where you go, North America, Europe, Russia, Asia, the governments have gone nuts. They are unstable. You don't know tomorrow. Will there be a war? I don't know. I hope it won't, but it won't happen. But who knows? It's a very fucked up situation we're in, but it is worldwide, it's not only in Canada, US, Europe, it's everywhere, it's the future is very difficult to guess, it's very unstable, very unstable. I don't know where we are going. If you know, if you have an idea, just leave a comment below and tell us.
You just never know. And like having the right to stand your ground, that's very lacking as well. So how much can you, like, how do you protect yourself? Like, you can't
you cannot
really protect yourself. And it's fearful. Like, it's in Ontario right now, there is break-ins everywhere, and the police is suggesting that people leave their key and phone and laptops and stuff valuable by the door so that the criminal don't wake you up basically and kill you while they're stealing your stuff. So just leave it on the doorstep so they can just peacefully take it away. Like, that's mind-blowing, and that's really, really...
Well, it's mind-blowing, but it doesn't surprise me at all. It's the same here in France. If you try to defend yourself, you become the aggressor. You know what I mean? So you're not even allowed to defend yourself. If somebody want to kill you in your house or steal something from you, or if you defend yourself, you become the aggressor. You become the aggressor. Imagine. Yeah. It's insane.
Scary.
And scary.
What do you do? What do you do? And moving to another country is not easy as it sounds. There's paperwork, there's immigration work. I've done the immigration. It's so much work. And nowadays, is that even like, how long would it take? I don't even know. And it's so complicated. And like, what about their medicals? What about their other things? I mean, some country, like, States, there's a lot of land still that's affordable, and the house that's somewhat affordable in countryside, and you can have acreages for same price as Canada for 2-bedroom bungalow, like for less than $100,000 you can have acreages in countryside in the States. So there is still hope there, perhaps, but moving to different country, that wherever that be, is still scary, unknown. And I'm not getting any younger, I'm getting older, so I don't like changes. Some people do, but I'm not a very adventurous person to begin with, so that's scary. But to survive and not
it's possible
to be slave to work, you have to do what you have to do. So if any of you out there that's struggling to pay bills,
it's still possible. It's not easy to move to another country. However, she does speak English, okay, so that's already a good point. She does speak the language of money. She could get a location independent job, or launch a business in Canada and get paid in Canada, so she will have a good purchasing power abroad. So it's still doable for you, but yeah, it's of course not easy. You have to learn a new language. Not always, but most likely if you move to Eastern Europe, to Asia, South America, and so on. And you have to be alone for a while. You won't have friends in the beginning. It will take time to get used to the new culture, the new country, build relationships, and so on. I know what it is like, but it's doable. If Canada becomes too unbearable, why not? Nothing to lose.
And live in Canada or really anywhere else that matters. I am so sorry, and you're not alone at all. People who has a good job is struggling, and people who has decent income is having a hard time paying the bill. Well, the saying is, we are 1 or 2 paycheck away from being out on the street. Like, literally, not too many people have that much saving to last if something happens to your job last 6 months or a year in the house that you were in. I certainly don't. And so, it's like one day at a time.
Yeah, it sucks.
It's hard, but
here we are, guys. If you are from Canada watching this video, it's not the first video I watch about Canada, about Canadians talking about how expensive all is in Canada, saying I'm gonna leave Canada, I'm done, I'm gonna move to Asia or to another cheap European country, because the prices of everything have become unbearable. Tell me in the comment below if you're from Canada. what it is like. Why has Canada become like that? You know, what's the reason? Tell me in the comment below. Smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet. Share this video in Canada. And yeah, Canada is a country I've never been to. No, I was supposed to go there, you know, a few years ago, but now I know I don't even need to go there. You know, it basically doesn't make sense anymore to go there. And yeah, check the links below in the description and comment below. Talk to you soon. Have a good one.